The easiest choices in your life are the ones that mess you up and you don't even notice it happening. The reason is simple. You're not the one making those choices. Your body is making them for you. But here's the thing. Your body is terrible at making decisions. It will always choose the easiest path, even if that choice destroys your entire future. The reality is, everyone falls into the same trap. We choose what feels good right now, without noticing the price we're going to pay later. Because the short term always feels more comfortable. It always feels easier than doing what actually needs to be done. Like when you grab your phone before starting a task, or when you tell yourself you'll rest for just 5 minutes, but suddenly, hours have gone by. In the moment, it feels like the best choice because it's quick, easy, and comfortable. But here's the problem. Those small choices don't stay small. They repeat, they become habits. And before you realize it, they're the ones running your life. There's a war happening inside you every single day. On one side, you have your body. On the other, you have your future. Your body lives only in the present moment. It doesn't think about tomorrow. It wants one thing: immediate comfort. To your body, spending energy feels dangerous. That's why it tries to avoid effort at all costs, even when that effort is exactly what you need. That's why you feel tired right before you work out. That's why you feel lazy when you try to study. That's why you get distracted the moment you start something important. Your body always wants the easiest path, always. And there's a reason for that. Back in the days when humans lived in the wild, there was no gym, no studying, no work. There was only survival, and any wasted energy could mean death. If you wasted strength, running, fighting, or moving for no real reason, you might not have enough energy to escape an animal, to hunt for food, or to survive the cold nights. So the body learned one simple rule: save energy. That rule saved lives back then, but today it destroys futures. Because what protected you in the wild holds you back in the modern world. Your body still acts like you're living in the past, even though your life now requires effort, discipline, and consistency. That's why your body behaves the way it does. It's not trying to ruin your life. It's just trying to keep you safe. But your future self, that version of you, wants something completely different. It wants a better life. It wants you to make choices that build, not choices that destroy. But here's the real problem. Your body speaks much louder than your future. And every time you follow your body, you hurt your future without even realizing it. Not because you're weak, but because no one ever taught you that this war exists and that you fight it every single day. The problem with short-term choices is that they don't look dangerous. They look small, they look harmless. They always feel like they're not a big deal, but that's exactly where the trap is. No one ruins their life with one big decision. Lives are ruined by hundreds of tiny decisions repeated day after day. It's when you choose to rest now and work later. It's when you pick up your phone just for a minute and lose an entire hour. It's when you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. But here's the catch. The consequences don't show up right away. They show up later. They show up when you look back and realize you lost months or even years choosing what was easy. Every short-term choice steals a small piece of the life you could have had. Today you lose an hour. Tomorrow you lose a day. And before you know it, you've lost a whole part of your life. That's how the future dies. Not because of one big mistake, but because of small daily choices you don't even realize you're making. Here's the truth about life. Everything that truly matters takes time. Nothing important shows up ready. Nothing big happens overnight. Every result that actually changes a life is built little by little. The long term doesn't give you pleasure right away, but it gives you something much bigger. A life that feels meaningful. A life that's worth living. A life that rewards every effort you make today. It's like working out. On the first day, nothing changes. On the second day, it feels like you're wasting your time. But after weeks and months, you look back and realize you become a completely different person. That's the power of the long term. It turns small choices into massive results. And most importantly, it gives you the life you always wanted. A life that only exists when you choose what needs to be done, instead of what feels good in the moment. Knowing the problem doesn't change anything if you don't do something about it. And to win this war, you need one simple thing. You need to reprogram your body. Because your body spent years choosing the easy path, and it won't change just because you want it. You have to force that change. And the first step is simple. Do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. The feeling comes later. That's the part almost no one understands. Most people think they need motivation to start something, but that's a lie. If you depend on motivation to act, you stay stuck. Motivation comes and goes, and you can't rely on it. The reality is, action creates motivation, not the other way around. The second step is even more important. Start small. The hardest part of anything is the beginning. Once you get past that phase, everything becomes easier. And that happens because it's much easier for the mind to keep doing something than to switch and start something new. Your brain spends far less energy keeping you in an activity than starting a new one. So all you need to do is trick your mind just long enough to begin. You do that by lowering the initial resistance with the 2-minute rule. The rule is simple. Every task should start with something that takes less than 2 minutes. Reading for hours becomes reading for 2 minutes. Working out becomes just putting on your gym clothes. Studying becomes simply opening your material. And here's the secret. Once you do those 2 minutes, you don't stop there. You end up doing the whole thing. The third step is self-control. You need to lead your body, not let it lead you, because your body has a mind of its own. It has impulses and cravings, and it will try to push you toward them. The mistake most people make is thinking those impulses are their real desires. They're not. They're two completely different things. That's why you need to step back from your emotions and see things from the outside. When you understand the difference between what your body wants and what you actually want, you gain clarity, and you finally choose what's worth it and what isn't. In the end, it's simple. If you don't train your body to obey you, it will train you to be a slave to the short term.